Welcome to Business Recipe. Every business has a recipe. Here's theirs. Today's recipe: the last grocery store in your town. In 2016, a Dollar General opened on the edge of Moville, Iowa. Population 1,600. It opened next door to Chet's Foods, not across town, not down the street, next door. Chet Davis had built that store at the community's request. The previous Moville grocery had burned down. Residents didn't wait for a corporation to save them. They raised approximately $600,000 in cash and property donations to help Davis build a replacement. The town had invested in its own survival. Within months of Dollar General opening adjacent to that store, Chet's sales dropped 30%. On certain items, Davis said, Dollar General was selling products for less than he could buy them at wholesale. It didn't matter how efficiently he ran his store. The arithmetic didn't work. Chet's Foods closed the Moville location. Today, Moville drives 30 minutes to Sioux City for a head of lettuce. This is not a story about one Iowa town. This is the recipe. Here's what we are going to show you. Dollar General now operates more than 20,000 stores in the United States. 80% of those stores sit in communities of 20,000 people or fewer. A 2024 USDA study measured what happens when a Dollar General opens in a rural census tract. Independent grocers become 5% more likely to close, nearly 3 times the rate seen in cities. Their sales drop 9.2%. Their employment falls 7.1%. And unlike urban markets, where the effects fade after 5 years, rural markets don't recover. Because no replacement grocer comes, we are going to walk through the recipe in 4 stages. The ingredients Dollar General needs to enter a market. The method it uses to eliminate competition. The result, what actually comes out of the oven. And who eats it. Along the way, we'll steelman the defense Dollar General makes. Because they make one. And it's worth taking seriously before we dismantle it. Every recipe starts with selecting the right ingredients. Dollar General's ingredient list is specific. The company targets communities where household incomes are $35,000 or below, where the nearest competitor is far enough away that switching costs are real, where the real estate footprint needed, roughly 8,500 square feet, is cheap, and crucially, where a locally owned grocer already exists. The Institute for Local Self-Reliance documented this pattern. Dollar General, they found, typically locates next door to or across the street from the town's only grocery store, not in the next zip code, not at the edge of the county, next to the incumbent. By 2000, Nebraska had 0 Dollar General stores outside Omaha and Lincoln. Today, it has 115 in towns, under 10,000 people. 75% of those locations are in towns smaller than 10,000 residents. The company calls this serving the underserved. Let's look at what the method actually involves, because the method is where the recipe gets interesting. Here's the part the press releases leave out. Dollar General does not pick its sites at random. Its own real estate model targets towns too small for a Walmart to bother with, typically under 4,000 people, often with a single aging grocer and no second option within a 15-mile drive. Internal expansion targets have run to 900 or even 1,000 new stores in a single year, almost all of them rural. That is not opportunism. That is a documented siting strategy that treats an isolated town with one grocery store as an opening, not a market already served. Chet Davis put it simply. When Dollar General came in, he said he could not buy certain items wholesale for what Dollar General was selling them retail. Think about what that means. A single-store independent grocer operates on profit margins of 1 to 2% annually. 1 to 2 cents of profit on every dollar of revenue. When a competitor with 20,000 locations and $40.6 billion in annual revenue opens next door and prices selected items below wholesale cost, there is no path to survival. Dollar General can sustain losses on a new store indefinitely. Chet Davis could not. This method works not just in Iowa. In Nebraska's state legislature, researchers found that Dollar General collected $801,335 in taxpayer-funded tax increment, financing credits, across 10 Nebraska communities since 2012. The same state that would lose its grocery store helped pay for the chain that replaced it. And the method accelerates its own momentum. Full-service grocers stock fresh produce. Specialty cuts, local items. Without those grocers, communities lose the infrastructure that supports fresh food at all. Dollar General's own spokesperson said this publicly. While we are not a grocer, we understand the importance our stores play in providing affordable and convenient access to everyday household items, including nutritious foods, often in communities where other retailers cannot or will not serve. Read that sentence carefully. Not a grocer, but positioned in communities where no grocer will go. After the grocer is gone. The USDA published its findings in May 2024. Economists from the Economic Research Service, North Dakota State University, and the University of Connecticut analyzed what happened across the United States between 2000 and 2019, every time a new dollar store opened in the same census tract as an independent grocer. Overall, independent grocers were 2.3% more likely to exit the market. Employment fell 3.7%. Sales declined 5.7%. In rural areas, those numbers more than doubled. Closure likelihood 5%. Nearly 3 times the urban rate. Sales decline 9.2%. Employment loss 7.1%. And in urban markets, the effects faded after about 5 years. Competitors adjusted. Alternative grocers entered. In rural markets, the effects did not fade. Because there is no replacement. Kansas State University's Rural Grocery Initiative documented the pattern in granular detail. Between 2008 and 2018, 1 in 5 rural Kansas grocery stores closed. Of the 105 communities that lost their grocer, no replacement had opened in half of them. By 2023, 5 years after the closure. Still no grocer, Nebraska tracked the same trajectory. Rural grocery stores in towns under 10,000 fell from 326 to 272 over 25 years, a 17% decline. Meanwhile, Dollar General added 115 stores in those same markets. This is the dish that comes out of the oven, not convenience, capture. Now let's steelman the other side, because there is a real argument here, and it deserves a real response. First argument, Dollar General serves communities that nobody else will. Walmart won't build a supercenter in a town of 1,600. Target doesn't exist in rural Nebraska. Amazon delivery reaches the coasts, not Mobile. Before Dollar General arrived, many of these communities had limited options. Dollar General brought prices that low-income households, its stated core customer with household income of $40,000 or below, couldn't otherwise access. That is a genuine service, and it is documented. Second argument, Dollar General is expanding fresh food access. As of 2024, more than 6,700 Dollar General stores carry fresh produce, more locations than any other mass retailer in the country. CEO Todd Vassos announced the initiative publicly. That is not nothing. Here is the rebuttal. On the first argument, Dollar General serving a community no one else serves is only a benefit if its arrival doesn't eliminate the option that was already there. In Mobile, an option existed. The community had invested $600,000 to sustain it. Dollar General didn't fill a vacuum. It created one. On the second argument, 6,700 stores with fresh produce sounds significant until you note that Dollar General operates more than 20,000 stores. That means more than 13,000 Dollar General locations, many of them in communities with no other food option, carry no fresh produce at all. And in the third quarter of 2024, CEO Vassos announced they were slowing the produce rollout to just 300 new locations for all of 2025, not accelerating the solution, decelerating it. Julie Johnson runs Nelson's Food Pride in Oakland, Nebraska. She is the third generation of her family to run the store. She stocks fresh produce, specialty cuts, local Swedish heritage items, because Oakland has a Swedish Heritage Museum and her store is part of that fabric. On the edge of town, a Dollar General. The Dollar Generals kill us, Johnson said. They don't give anything back to the community. What Johnson is describing is not just lost revenue. It's the stripping of community infrastructure. Independent grocers in rural communities are employers, tax base anchors, meeting points. They carry the items the community actually needs, from local suppliers the community knows. Dollar General carries roughly 10,000 SKUs. A full-service independent grocer typically carries 15,000 to 30,000. The missing items are the produce, the meat, the things that keep people out of the doctor's office. Oklahoma City Council member Nikki Nice watched this happen in the 73111 zip code. When that neighborhood's only grocery store closed in August 2019, the area was formally designated a food desert. Nice pushed through a 180-day moratorium on new dollar stores, then a permanent ordinance. Any new discount store must include a pharmacy or dedicate at least 500 square feet to fresh produce and meat. By 2021, a 30,000-square-foot grocery store had opened in the 73111 zip code. That is what policy can do when it acts before the damage is permanent. The uncomfortable truth is this: Dollar General's extraction playbook works precisely because it looks like service. It enters markets that are genuinely underserved. It sells products people genuinely need, and then it eliminates the option that served them better, leaving them with the option that serves Dollar General better. If this story is the kind of analysis you can't find anywhere else, subscribe to Business Recipe. This is exactly why the channel exists. Here are 3 signs that tell you a market is being extracted rather than served. Watch for these when a Dollar General comes to your town. Sign 1. The new store is adjacent, not additional. In Mobile, Dollar General opened next door to Chet's Foods, not in a part of town without food access. The ILSR documented that this adjacency is a pattern, not a coincidence. If the new dollar store is across the street from your town's only grocer, the market isn't being expanded. It's being targeted. Sign 2. The pricing doesn't add up for a single-store competitor. When Chet Davis said he couldn't buy certain items at wholesale for what Dollar General was selling them at retail, he was describing structural asymmetry, not price competition. Price competition is healthy. Pricing below the cost of entry for any local competitor is extraction. Sign 3. There is no produce. More than 13,000 Dollar General locations carry no fresh produce. When Dollar General is the only food option remaining after the independent grocer closes, the absence of produce is not a business limitation. It is the business model. Captive customers with no alternative, buying what Dollar General carries at the prices Dollar General sets. At least 75 communities have blocked proposed dollar store openings since 2019. Oklahoma City passed a permanent ordinance requiring fresh food access. Chicago banned new dollar stores within 1 mile of an existing same-chain outlet. Communities that recognize the recipe are starting to refuse the dish. The question is whether yours will recognize it before the last grocer closes. Dollar General built a $40.6 billion business by being the last store standing. That is the recipe, and it's complete. Next on Business Recipe, we look at another industry where the infrastructure that communities rely on has been quietly captured. If you've made it this far, the channel is worth following. Today's recipe, complete. So, what business should we crack open next? Drop the company name in the comments. We read them. If you want more case studies like this one, subscribe. New recipe every Tuesday.